Hello, everybody. Paul Richards here with PTZOptics. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Friday, right before the weekend. I have with me a very interesting CEO, Philippe Laurent. How are you doing today?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming because I have been personally looking for a cloud-based video production solution for a long time. I've got stories about why, but let's just start this show off right. Every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, we live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for being here. If you click that like button or the subscribe button, we add an extra dollar to our donation every week to the Susquehanna Valley CASA, helping children in need in the court system help get adoptions. So that's really great. Wanted to show this week, obviously today is December 2nd. We're interviewing Philip from GoEasyLive. Next Friday, we're interviewing Dotworks and HD Relay. They do outdoor camera enclosures, so we're going to dig into some of those cool outdoor applications. And then the next Friday, we're going to interview Ziptonite. Harry Hursty is a web RTC master, and he has a new peer-to-peer video conferencing solution he wants to show us. And then after that, it's the holidays. So really quickly, Philip, I wanted to ask you a question I want to kick off every show about. Where are we in this streaming world? Are we just getting started? Are things getting further along? Where would you say we are?
I think we will stand between the early adopters and the early majority. We are seeing like more among people using, either they are like just individuals or professional using live streaming. I just moved to the US, like I told you earlier, and I saw yesterday on TV, like national television, an advertisement from Facebook promoting Facebook Live and how to easily set up a live stream. So it's getting bigger and bigger. Some people, very few, start making money out of it. It's more right now marketing and stuff like this. But we are seeing more and more people definitely starting live streaming.
Well, I was just chatting with the CEO of vMix last week, and he thinks we're at the top of this curve. I think we're still, we're just passing the early adopters. I think we're just at the beginning of the early majority. I don't think we're too far along, but he sells a lot of software. I think he knows the industry pretty well.
Actually, it depends who you consider, because vMix customers are usually very professional people. And we have like several types of customer. We have like very professional, like the same kind of customers that vMix has. But we also have a lot of demand where it's more like brands have a lot of contents and they know nothing about live streaming. They don't have like technical skills internally. And so those guys, they don't know how to set up an encoder, that they don't know what's a video switcher. And so those guys, I don't think they are like between early majority and late majority. I think they are like way before that, basically. Yeah, so it really depends which type of customers you're speaking about.
I agree with you. I don't think we're quite in there, even past the early majority. But let's get into our lightning round. I got a couple questions for you, and then we'll jump into the show.
Okay.
So Philippe, I'm just going to ask you a couple personal questions to get to know you. First of all, are you a coffee or a tea guy?
Too much coffee, unfortunately. Way too much coffee every day.
Well, you're from France. Of course you got to drink coffee.
Actually, you should ask wine. I would have said wine, definitely. But yeah, between coffee and tea, I'm definitely coffee.
Every day, you got to drink it. Are you an iPhone or an Android kind of guy?
Actually, I'm both. I mean, I like both system. I mean, which Android, I only like the original layer, like the Nexus version of it. I don't like the Samsung version or other like providers, only the Google one. But I like iPhone also. I mean, both are pretty good products, so you can find what you want in both cases.
So last question, we don't have a whole lot of time. If you could go back in time to watch 24 hours of history unfold, when and where would you go?
I'd say July 69, where they're landing on the moon. I think that was an incredible story. I wasn't born, so...
That's a cool one. I think that's a very cool one. All right. Well, that sounds good to me. Let's get the show started. So for everyone out there who knows about the show, We normally go ahead and do a ton of, oh, so sorry. Dealing with a couple funny things here. We normally do like 8 minutes of interviews, but I thought today it'd be better if we did a live demo. So before we get into the live demo, why don't you in 60 seconds tell us an introduction to EasyLive?
Sure. So EasyLive, it's a cloud-powered video production platform. The company is based in San Francisco and in Europe. So we work globally. We basically work with the biggest organization and brands in the world. We became last April official Facebook Live technical partner. We work with the biggest brands in Europe, in the US. We work on different verticals. It could be sports, it could be esports, it could be media and video production companies.
Very interesting. You guys, when you're watching this, I mean, I have been waiting for a cloud-based solution for so long because it happened in the video conferencing industry where everything was hardware-based. It was very expensive. You had to do everything with a piece of hardware. And then Skype came out. GoToMeeting, WebEx, Zoom, all of these things, everything's handled in the cloud, and it made it affordable for everyone, and then the technology really started to take off. I see similarities here. Give us a little introduction to the product before we do the live demo.
Sure. So as I mentioned previously, so it's a cloud-powered video production platform. The aim of our solution, the aim of it is not to replace traditional mixer, either software or hardware. We are a complementary tool. Because right now, at the state of the technology, you can't replace what's happened locally. I mean, part of it. There are some stuff that you can deport in the cloud. People change the way they use the product, so you can have shots with just an iPhone or just one camera. And so there are certain things that you can move into the cloud, especially to save the bandwidth locally. And so this is where we aim to become like the replacement of traditional final control room. That's the aim of EasyLive. So we work with Wirecast, we work with XSplit. Some of our customers use Teradek encoders, vMix solutions. So it's really like a complementary tool. We are the entry point on the web for the producers.
Very interesting. And then you want to explain this here?
Yeah, one of the aim of being in the cloud is one of the key features we provide, it's like an insurance. We give you the insurance that with our tool, your feed will never go down. So basically, let's say that you have a technical issue on site. Either your internet connection died, and I'm sure everyone who does live streaming experimented that already, or your encoder crash, or whatever happened, we will detect it. And so we will replace automatically your dead feed by a still screen or a video that will be looping. You will be able to customize it. And so we will deliver permanently your feed to your publisher. So we guarantee that your audience, they will never have an offline player. So you will never lose your audience. And this is what you see here on the curve. With the green line, this is with us. The black one, this is without us. So if you have a tech issue, you will lose your audience right away. And I'm sure everyone who had tech issue experimented that. And so by the time you manage to grow a bit your audience back, if you have a second tech issue, you're done. And so that's one of the biggest issues with our customers face.
And just to kind of clarify that a little bit, it's really interesting. So basically, if your live stream goes down and you're sending it to the cloud, that you can have a fail-safe to say automatically switch to this video or automatically switch to something else.
And this is something you see every day with national television. When you have like the news and they are interviewing, I don't know, like a journalist that this is on the war area, if the satellite connection just cut, they switch to another thing. Like when you're watching TV, you don't have a black screen. And so it's exactly the same for webcast, basically. So basically, this is the new back office that we are releasing, the new platform that we are releasing. So basically here, so that's the platform we provide. So you can recreate the exact same thing that you have with every professional, like we mentioned, software, basically. So you have a player giving you the feedback of the server. You can basically preview the feed before publishing it. So you can add logos, lower third, social feeds. You see we have an official Twitter feed as a lower third at the bottom of the player. You can publish to multiple destinations. Being in the cloud, that's one of the very cool features. You can save a lot of bandwidth locally. You just need to publish one feed to our end, and we will duplicate it for you, either to Facebook Live, YouTube, whatever RTMP platform, basically.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite features about this is that not only are you able to do cloud-based video production, mixing cameras, overlays, integrations, but you can also basically you have Joycaster built in. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. You can restream from the cloud to 4 different CDNs. Is 4 the maximum?
Oh, us, we don't have any limitation. You can
Wow.
go up to like one server can handle like 800 different. So I don't think you will need 800 different points, but we have no limitation basically.
That's amazing. So if somebody needed to do 100, because they had 100 different Facebook pages, they were a big organization, they could do that.
Yeah.
I just scrubbed back a little bit because I didn't want to miss this this next part here. This part is really interesting. So explain to us what you're doing here with the subtitle.
So basically here, you can manage on the fly all the lower third. So you can add new, like here I'm adding like Paul Richard as a new lower third. So on the fly, you can correct things, you can change name, you can add new speakers. You can really add on the fly everything. You don't need to recreate PNGs and so on, basically. You can really add new things on the fly. This is like the live management. But you can also edit these things. So if you want to edit specific elements, you have that double screen that just pops up. And here you can make all the changes, prepare everything, and just hit apply when you want that to go live.
Now this is where you're starting to look like Wirecast and vMix and even
Exactly.
more. You've honestly done more than OBS and some of I think you even got more power than XSplit. I'm not going to say you have more power than Wirecast and vMix, but the ability to build your screen on the left, hit a button, and it's good on the right. Now, you could do this from like a Chrome box, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you don't need a powerful PC now to do live streaming.
No, that's correct. And you can prepare everything ahead. And one of the big thing is like on the financial standpoint, some of our customers, sometimes they have just one camera coupled with a Teradek VDU, for instance, or a Cube or whatever encoding solution. And so you don't need to have a second person using Wirecast locally just to add a logo or a lower third. You can pilot everything with your smartphone. You can ingest in the feed any kind of element. It could be 3D visual stuff. It could be any HTML-based element. Everything you are seeing is API-driven, so we can automate every single thing. Like in Europe, we work a lot with betting companies, and there is no human interaction. There is like a script that just rolls depending on incoming statistics, and all the graphics, all the scoring, everything is done automatically. There is no human interaction at all.
This is incredible stuff.
It's really like a very like added value compared to existing local software. And since everything is in the cloud, you can automate stuff, you can work remotely. So it will make you save a lot of money basically on your production cost.
Yeah, I mean, some of the new features in vMix actually allow you to do some of this data source pulling, but being built from the cloud up, I've seen companies do that, and it's such an interesting way to think about video conferencing. Now we're talking about live streaming. It seems like it's finally here. Explain to me what I'm looking at here.
So right now, we work with different services that provide, custom HTML graphics. So you have like Casper CG, Streamlabs is one for esports industry. So you have for different industries. But with this example, you can trigger HTML elements like animation and so on. And you see here on the top right screen, you see that zombie running. And so you can trigger things like animation and so on. So it's just like traditional television. There is no difference basically. And everything is cloud-based, and you don't need to be a professional to set that up. You just need to click on the button we provide, and that's about it. And you can recreate the exact same TV-like quality, I would say.
Wow. Well, I'll just throw this in there for a little funniness. The little cat with the rainbow, I think next time we should do something a little more professional, maybe. I'm just joking. Now explain to me.
Like it's just a funny example.
It's okay. It's okay. This is interesting and kind of something that blew my mind here. So this little thing on the right-hand side, this is something that you're pulling through Facebook?
That's correct. It's a Facebook API where they give you the number of like emoticon and stuff like this. And so basically when you start publishing, this is what I just did, you publish on Facebook. So you have that live feed that's just start on Facebook Live, and you can interact with your audience. So you can say, do you prefer cats or dogs? And people who prefer cats will choose this emoticon over the other one. And so you have live statistics. coming over. And so you can create really an interaction with your audience while you go live.
Yeah,
And so
I thought
very,
that was
very
really cool because you could basically have statistics being pulled directly through Facebook, and to trigger these statistics, you've actually used two different emoticons, and that's just one of the many things that you can do once you start going to the cloud. Tell me a little bit about this this workflow we're looking at here.
So basically, this is just the workflow any producer use to go live. So you have an input, so a local encoder. For this demo, we were using a VDU Teradek. Then you arrive on a service. You can choose a display. You choose your encoding settings. You choose all the metadata that will be published on all the destination, like RTMP destinations. And you choose where you want to publish. So I choose Facebook Live for that example, but you could set up multiple destinations or multiple pages. And the screen that you see called Live Connection Lost at the bottom left, it's the safety that we provide. So here you see on the workflow that if the Teradek goes off, so basically your feed is dead, whatever goes wrong locally, the feed is dead, we will replace by the safety workflow here. So this is that screen or that video that you'll be choosing that will replace your dead feed. And so we will guarantee the delivery like this on your feed on Facebook Live or whatever destination. Like this, your audience, their video player will never turn off. So they will never have to do, F5 to refresh the browser and stuff like that. They will always have images coming along. And so you will never lose
incredible. This is really powerful stuff here. What was I just thinking about? I mean, you've just put so much work into this. And sometimes when you see, I'll be completely honest, the Teradek core, this is blowing it out of the water. It can do a few things. It can take feeds from Teradek systems and it can redistribute those feeds, but you can't do any overlays. You can't do well, you can send to multiple CDNs, but you can't have backup streams. And just the way that it automatically gives you these workflow overlays, you've just put so much into it. This is the part where you're showing us the Facebook Live stream itself. And this will kind of drive home these APIs that you have built in here. There's the live stream when we recorded this earlier, and we can actually go ahead and give the emoticon, and it actually updates the vote through the API you have integrated.
So I did the example with emoticons, but it works with hashtags. It works with whatever you define, basically. So it's very easy. We provide a default toolbox that you can customize, and you define the different areas. What is the name of the vote? How do you want people to vote using emoticons or using a specific word? And that's about it. Then all the math are done automatically for you. So you don't need to be like a professional coder to set that up. We do that for you.
Well, that's the main thing that I see beneficial here is that there's two things. I mean, there's the safety, there's the security, there's the part of it all that you don't need any equipment really other than maybe a camera. You just stream right to GoEasyLive, which is something we're working on here at PTZOptics. But you've also just made it so that anybody can create a professional live stream. There's no training involved. It's a website. It's literally click, 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 and you're pretty close. Explain to me what we're looking at here. This is the clip editor. This is another really powerful part of the platform.
So one of the main advantage being in the cloud is you can clip real time any highlights. So here I'm doing like a short clip, like 25 seconds. You can edit that, so you can change entry point, exit point. You can be frame accurate or second accurate. And then you can publish it real time to your Facebook page, your Twitter account, your YouTube channel to interact with your audience. And that's a huge advantage of doing that in the cloud rather than at the venue. Because if you do that at the venue, you will just use more bandwidth. So when you upload content, usually it uses the max of the available bandwidth. So you can just kill your video feed just uploading a content.
So the use case here, of course, there's bandwidth constraints that you're alleviating ridiculously by doing this all in the cloud. But I also was thinking, like, let's say you're live streaming the president and he says something ridiculous because we have this new president now. Mm-hmm. You could actually take that clip and post it to YouTube before the live stream is over.
That's correct. That's the main idea. Like this, you can have like more audience, like people that follow you. Facebook account.
And the other thing I'm thinking about is that it doesn't have to be just this one-man producer. You could have people doing this all around the world. Like you can have like 10 people in different countries all logged into this server, right?
That's correct. And
my
each
gosh.
of them can have their own sessions. Each of them can work on this on the time zone they want. We track every user, so we know what they've done. So if someone makes a mistake, you have all the history, so you can train that person again. So it's pretty advanced. Yeah.
Because that's the other big thing that I wasn't even thinking about initially, is the fact that now you can have video production operators, social media managers, just for big companies. Now you've got 10 people working on the same live stream. One of them is getting content for YouTube. One of them's getting content for Facebook. The other one's doing Twitter. You've got one guy who's managing the stream. You've got another guy who's managing the Twitter. And you've just got the ability to not just, because a lot of the problems with, I'm not going to say it's a huge problem, but the vMix, the Wirecast, the TriCasters, usually it's like one or two people, controlling it. Now with NewTek NDI and some of the other things coming out, they're broadening their horizon, but this is cloud-based. This is like get a computer with a keyboard and mouse and you're good to go.
Yeah, and actually one of the things we figured out is depending who is your customer, like let's take Nike or like huge brands. Usually the people in the social media team, it's not the same department that the other teams basically. So people related to the production environment, they don't work in the same department. So it's way easier to have a remote access, and you can define, okay, that person from that department can do only that, and that person from that department can only do that. You avoid mistakes, and everyone is happy. So.
Beautiful. Well, we're running a little bit out on time here. We want to go over to the Q&A. What you're looking at now, really quickly, because we spent the whole show on live demo, and I'm glad we did, because this is brand spanking new platform. This is definitely worthwhile. The other thing that Philippe was showing here is the ability to set up playlists. We showed the DVR, I believe. There's a DVR capability as well, where you can just set up different recordings. This is actually setting up playlists, editing media, all in the cloud when you have your playlist or your videos where you want them. Now, and then you could just go live with them. Now, could you actually be taking clips, like highlights from a sports game, and then putting them right back into your playlist?
That's the aim of it, of course, to do like instant replay. So either you can publish it to your video feed, but you can share just the clip to your Twitter account. So you can do both, actually.
Oh, my goodness. That is pretty much it for our overview there. So I'm going to ask you to just, we're going to skip the industry trends. We're going to skip the future. We're over on time. Thank you so much for everyone who's been sticking around. I think this is very, very interesting stuff. I can't wait to hear what your questions are in the Q&A. Thanks for sticking around. Hold out for a little bit. Thanks for watching. That's our show, everybody.
Thank you.